Okay, the lab has just begun. Hey, what's up, guys? Me here, Gunjan the Germany. Now she lives in Netherlands, and she's a clarity coach, and she helps people to get more clarity in their business or if they're coach to get more clarity in their coaching, or anybody who is mentoring, they need some clarity. She helps with that. If somebody is really willing to get more clear on their goal, that she's a go-to person, and she has done lots of the studies in that. You can really see what she does in our Instagram account. I'm really inspired by what she shares, the value, the content, and yeah, we are excited to interview her and know more about what she does in our community. Let's welcome Birga Butenhoff from Netherlands.
Thank you so much, Gunjan. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're really welcome. And so you always talk about purpose. You always talk about, I see whatever in your Instagram post, clarity, purpose, alignment. Can you tell a bit about more that thing?
Yes, it's a pleasure. So in general, what I do is that I help others to really get clear on who they are as a person and what makes them unique, because I truly believe that each and every one of us has this unique potential, the unique way of why we are here on earth, right? Like a way that we uniquely contribute to this world and have an impact on this world. And that is for everyone different. And I'm helping my clients to get really clear on what that is. What is their purpose? How do they contribute to this world? What makes them unique? Because especially what I found out is that that was actually, it's also relating to my own story, is if you don't have that one like super obvious skill, like you're extremely talented or skilled, let's say at playing an instrument or I don't know, doing some sports, then it often gets difficult to really find your place in this world, to really see clearly, where do I belong? What am I here for? And I truly think that we all have it. And I tried to figure it out for the longest time in my life when I was younger, and nobody seemed to help me. And that's now why I want to help others gain that clarity, not only about their purpose, but what makes them unique in general and what drives them, which values do they have, you know, that are like guiding principles in their life. And then in the next step, because once you have that clarity and you know who you are, then the next step is equally challenging at times, because what are you going to do with it now? You know, yeah. Like, of course, like if you're good at basketball, I say, you know, join a team and play basketball. But if it's not that obvious, or if you think everyone else is better in it, then the comparison comes in. Then usually people stop and say, no, I don't really have that one thing I'm especially good in, so I don't know what to do with it. And ultimately, and that is like why I do what I do, is that often leads to people not finding meaning, happiness, and fulfillment in their life. And time is limited. So I really want to help as many people as possible to find this, you know, internal driving force in them, and try to help them live in alignment with that, so they can feel ultimate happiness, fulfillment, and meaning in their life.
Okay, how do they know that something that you told, that you help people to find this alignment? How do they know that that is the thing that they need to do?
You know, like, yeah. So I think it's like it takes a little more steps. So usually when I work with my clients and take the time to dive into their story, then you, at some point, you find, you know, your overall, like, it's like a guiding principle. You can call it purpose, you can call it your why, but you find some overall guiding principle. And if you know that, then you can start thinking, by considering all of the skills you have and the passion topics you have, put that all together in a like a big mix it up, and then find ways how that could be expressed. And if you have it, like connected to your why, then you could do basically anything, right? So I think one of the most important things to know is that there's not only one way how to live a meaningful life. There are many ways, and you can find that meaning once you know what triggers you, and once you know what is meaningful to you. You can find it in every action you do. You can find it in your current job, you know. You can find it in doing something else as well. You can find it in your free time and private life, and you will know it, you will feel it. It's more, I think it's more an intrinsic feeling of alignment. Once it clicks, you feel it. And then, as everything in life, I think, it's also about the journey, it's also about progress. And I think ultimate clarity doesn't exist. There's only the level of clarity you can have right now. And from there, you can grow again and move to the next level of clarity. And the
So
next
there is
level,
not one clear type of clarity. There is different type of clarity.
yeah, for me, it is like different stages and levels in life you move
Okay.
through. Yeah.
Wow, that's something new. So there are different levels of clarity people starts to get. So it's not a
Yes.
one type of purpose or something. So they're a mixture of different purpose.
So the purpose, like the general purpose, I think is more or less the same, but it also can take some time to really fully uncover it. Like what I noticed with my clients is that you get some first stage of clarity, and then in the next month you kind of, get more clarity and more clarity, and it can even take years to really still, like refine it a little bit and word it, but it doesn't matter. Once you have that first level of clarity, it already makes so much more sense, and you already feel like, yeah, you're in alignment in some way. And I also believe, like, in general, for everyone that is looking for purpose, is that Tony Robbins said it so well, that the secret in living is giving. So I
Mhm.
really honestly believe that once we start giving, once we start contributing positively to the life of others, we are already living in our purpose. And then what it really is, that is something we can figure out along the way by looking at all the other things that make us, right? Our own unique story and experiences and skills and knowledge, and everything else that plays into it.
Wow. So it's like giving and then you're getting back in return. It's really fantastic. That what you mentioned, secret of living. So what was your background and how did you found your purpose and how did you move into the coaching industry? Can you tell about that?
Yeah, that was quite a bumpy ride.
Yeah.
I think, like for many of us, right? So, yeah, so what basically happened is, after I finished my like high school and I thought about studying, I really wanted to study psychology. Um, I always was interested in those topics, but everybody was like, oh, Birga, no, psychology, there you really have to know a lot about math and it's a lot of statistics. And I was like, what? What? I want to help people. I don't want to do math and statistics, right? So I ended up not doing it because I got really insecure. And I followed a completely different path by studying international business administration. And so, and the problem there was, like, at each stage I didn't know what to do with it.
Hmm.
So basically every now and then I had to do an internship. I didn't know which one. I finished university, I didn't know where to work. You know, I
Mhm.
started the new job. I was like, well, that's not really it. I was good at it, but I didn't enjoy it. And then I
Mhm.
thought, okay, I try something completely different. It was again not it. And so it went on and on and on until I really came back to my roots of my desire to study psychology. And
Mhm.
I already started like with NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, 10 years ago. I started in education, and then I completed it 2 years ago, and also a life coaching certification. And then I really thought, okay, now I'm going to do the jump after nearly 15 years of working in office jobs in the corporate world. I left it, and I thought, okay, I'm going to, if not now, then never, right?
Yeah, so it really headed maths. I mean,
Yes.
and
But my purpose, I actually only really, I felt drawn to this topic, but I
mhm,
didn't really have my purpose clear back then yet.
mhm. So,
So it,
so, so, what did you thought? Like, you starting from the beginning, you thought to like help people, just you are interested in psychology.
yes, it was the origin that I was always interested in psychology. I was like 10 years ago when I started with NLP, I started with listening to everything Tony Robbins had to say. I really think he's one of the masters, but also other NLP people are really inspiring. Like it basically was a lot about, um, having an empowered mind. That was also a big part of it because of, like it often starts own struggles. So I had some issues, like, or yeah, you can say mental health issues, when I was like also 10 years ago, just before, no, more, 13, just before I started with NLP. I was struggling with anxiety and panic attacks, and I overcame that within 1.5 years with the help of therapy. And I thought, okay, but the therapy was good, like it, I got rid of it, but I knew it would be only the start of the journey. I knew that from now on, I had to do something, like intentionally, for my mind, train my mind for strength, in order to, never go back into that loop again. And I honestly believe that we all have that power, and that's so a lot of my work is also about empowerment, because I feel if you're connected to your purpose, you have less risk, and if you're aware of yourself, you have less risk of going down the rabbit hole and having declined mental health. And that I see a lot of people struggling with. And this is really the one thing, like physical health is important,
Yeah.
but mental health can also destroy completely your life.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, mental health is really, really key, important fact because
Yes.
if you don't think properly or you don't have a good mindset, then a business you can't run a business. I feel in that most of the time in my life as well. So you most probably when you are in this journey, like Tony Robbins, and like you got inspired by that, right? And you found that something you need to do. Is it something that came from inside, or is it something that you found the purpose of coaching people from the outside? The trigger. What did you say?
I think it's from the, yeah, it's an interesting topic. I think about that a lot. So I think that somehow our purpose might be shaped by external experiences. But
Mm-hmm.
I can also say that from a very young age onwards, I was helping and protecting others that are weaker, for example. Like I can
Mm-hmm.
remember, like when I was like 7 years old, I was always, protecting like other children from bullying or something. And then later on, like I always had friends that were struggling, and I always helped them go through their struggles and keep them happy and motivated and see options when they felt stuck. So this started for some reason, I think, even before everything else. So I'm kind of not 100%, I haven't decided 100% yet if we are born with our purpose, or if this is shaped by our experiences. Maybe it's both, you know, like there is something like a natural skill and a natural, you know, your personality you're born with, that's already there. So I think I'm a personality type that is actually, if you know the Enneagram, like I'm a helper according to the Enneagram. So that is a personality type, right? But then maybe how it shows and the topics, you know, how I help, that is maybe something that is shaped also by your own experiences and story.
So it's both, like
Yes,
internal
maybe.
thing and external thing, both affecting and to who you want to become. It's a really interesting point
Yes.
because this I often think that something that people are born with, but sometimes the external things may change people. But this is a really new point. So. So what do you think a person who is a new in the business, just like you, and which kind of things can help a person to really get more clarity and the purpose in the business? What do you
So
say?
yeah, I think so. For once, I think a lot of people that have a business already for longer didn't start like this. They just started with a topic and they didn't dive into it. And then sooner or later, when you spend more and more time with it, and it gets more and more demanding, then you suddenly uncover that you maybe, you know, not really doing what you really want to do, but you're just doing what somebody else did, for example. So I think like at any moment is a good moment to ask yourself the questions and to understand like um, what makes you you, right? Like like and it's a mix. Like part of it is your personality, but also like part of it is really your story, you know, like what is your unique story, which obstacles did you overcome, what values do you have, what values do you live by. We all have like countless values, but we have those core values that can also change with time. That really, you know, when we don't live in alignment with our values, we feel something is off. And when we know what they are, we can actually start considering that in our personal and in our life, but also in our business.
Wow. So it's really important to live with that value and present the value in the business. And what if a person don't have the value in certain places? What if they're just starting their business, which is like the formal way, traditional business, for example, family type of business? Could they bring the value in that as well, or they need to dig
I
deeper?
think so. Yeah, definitely. Because I think like um, you can have, you know, your values. Like, I don't know, for example, if your value is integrity, then you can bring your integrity into what you do. It can be your own business, but it can be also your family business. It's the way how you approach it that is different. And also when it comes to, you know, like when I was like, I really didn't feel that one of my core values is, for example, self actualization, so that I really can fully express myself. And that I felt was never really fully possible in a job where I was employed. But,
Mhm.
you know, I also have other values and I also have this need to help others. So even if your job is not to help others, you can find people you're working with that you can help. So I think that because not everyone can start their own business, right? You
Yeah.
can still, when you know what is important to you, you can still integrate that in what you do right now. And I think by knowing what it is, you have the basis. It's not everything. Knowledge is the starting point, right?
Mhm.
Clarity
Yeah.
is the starting point. Only when you're aware, you can change something. But the next step is always action. And that's usually where, you know, awareness is already difficult for some people, but action is even more
Yeah.
difficult because
So
you
it's
need also courage for it.
yeah. So it's
For some
really
action.
difficult. Yeah. I mean, So it's really difficult. I mean, it's a little bit easy to get the clarity, but it becomes more difficult when it's put into action. And is there a way that people can really think what they do? Because I find lots of people that know what they need to do, they don't, they need to change, or their values are not aligned with their jobs or business, but they're still running it. So is there a way that they know what their purpose is and they follow something or some action to align with the business, or they need to change the job or something like that? Is there a way to really do what they need to do and put the action on it? How is this really possible? Can you tell that?
So you mean they are currently having a business or
Yeah.
working somewhere and they don't know what their purpose is? They
They
don't know
know
what
most
their
people. I mean, yeah, they don't know most people. You see some people they know what they need to do, right? But they don't do it. So you knew at the time that when you are in your job or when you're starting that you know what you need to do. But what caused you to take the action and just start it? Is there any action step that you followed at the time?
Well, what I do with my clients when they come to me is that I basically start really with the first step, which is getting that clarity on who they are. Because if you don't know who you are, you can't align anything for it. So the steps are to really sit down and think, who am I as a person? What makes me me? What am I good in? What am I passionate about? And then in the next step is either how do I create something? How can it look that it looks like in alignment, that it is in alignment with who I am? How can I create something? Or if you are already in a situation, how can I align it? And this is like, I don't know, the action steps to that, I think is also, you really need to have the first part clear to then say, okay, I have this skill together with this skill, and this is my current situation. And then you have to see, okay, what options are in my current situation? What is in my power to change? Can I change it? Can I change the way I see it?
All right. So it's like changing the perception of how we see things. If they can change it, then they can do it. If they can't, then what they gonna do? I mean,
Well, that's
if they're in,
always what it comes down to. It's also actually something that Tony Robbins also said. And I'm not like completely, it sounds like it now, but I think like I learned a lot from him as well. And he sums it up really nicely. So, so one thing he always said, the reason why a lot of people feel stuck, you know, is because they don't feel they can change their current situation, and the current situation is not good. The problem with feeling stuck for a longer time is that if you can't feel you can't take action, then you kind of try and escape the pain of feeling being stuck, right? You try to escape it, which often leads to addictions and worse, right? Well, there's not much worse, but so, and that's why he said for human, it's very important to remember there are always two things that you can actually do in any situation. You can either change the situation or you can change the way you think about that situation. So basically, what we often do is when we look at a situation, we always look at it at the same way. And we are like, oh, we don't feel fulfilled in it. And no, we can't do anything. But we have at some point, like for example, if you hate a job, but you can't leave it because you need the money and you have no alternative, right?
yeah.
Then you're stuck in the situation and you're getting frustrated and you feel like, yeah, but I can't do it. And no matter how, then you can first think, can I change something in my current job? Can I move to a different position? Can I get more tasks from my boss to improve? But if that's all not possible, then you still, and you don't have the opportunity to leave the job, then you need to think, okay, can I change the way to think about this, the way I think about this job? And what can I do when I'm not at the job to live in alignment and build maybe something on the side? Because I think like because I was stuck in a job also at times that I really didn't like. And the problem was that in my free time, I also didn't do anything that fulfilled me. And then it gets tricky, right? So I think there are also a lot of people that do a job that doesn't fulfill them. They just do it to get the money, and then they live still a fulfilled life in their free time with their family, and they contribute in their personal life in a more meaningful way. And they just see meaning in, okay, this job gives me money. And for me, it was never like that, because I thought, okay, I spent 1/3 of my life working. So I really want to have that third of my life mean something to me. But I do understand when that is not possible, right? It's not possible. It's also some sort of, yeah, in a way, for some, it's also a privilege. Although I still think that if I really would have to, I could also find that fulfillment and meaning in any job. I was just not looking before, and now I really like being an entrepreneur. But I think like if I would have to change now, if I would have to say now I have to quit my business, I have to find a job, I could now find a job that is meaningful for me, because yeah, or that I find meaning in for myself.
Wow, wow, that's truly awesome. Lots of people are stuck in this time with the job that they hate and doing the things that they don't like, but they're still doing it, and they just need to spend time with themselves, as you said, like they need time for themselves. I think the self time is really, really precious at this moment. I mean, it's priceless because when you spend time with yourself, you get to know what you need to do. And most people are being busy, watching television, spending time with the family, and they're busy and they don't know what they need. So it's really, really important. To ask some deeper questions, like you said, like what do they need to do and they need to change something like that. And is there any specific question that every person need to ask or something like that to get more clear? Can you tell that? I mean, in the purpose and the business, or to improve in the business, do you ask any specific question to yourself
To improve the business, or what kind of questions? Or to get clarity about
to get
themselves?
more clarity in the business? I think that's going to improve the business. Yeah,
Clarity in the business to do what?
get more clear, like what their business meant to be, or how they want to improve their business, or how they're going to do better in the business, or to find more alignment in the business. Is there a specific question for that, or is it different question for everything?
No, it's basically the same. So I basically run through the same questions what I already mentioned before, like with it. So first, the purpose, like to figure out the purpose, is more complex. This is really more going into the direction of exploring the life story with my clients. So I can give you some questions, or I can tell you one like really great task is to write down your life story, and really look at what stuck out and the things that you really remember that impacted you in a positive or negative way. Everything that, like had a big impression, and that could be something small.
Yeah. Right.
My headphones left me, sorry. We have to do it like this now.
Yeah, I
But
can hear.
like it can be something small that I remembered that, I don't know, like it's more about what do you remember. I remember
protecting, you know, like 2 younger kids from my neighbor. Why do I and then people stop. They think, okay, now I know, like I remember it, now what? And then you have to dig deeper, you know, like what did it really mean to you? You know, like why do you remember it? Because there's so many memories and I forgot most of my childhood. But why do I remember this specific incident? What made it so meaningful to me? You know, and I have also other memories, and it's like it's really about, and it could be also like, you know, people that impressed you, you know, like people you were following. What did you like about them so much? You know, so I could ask myself, what do I like about Tony Robbins so much, right? What is it? And then when you ask the question, because usually we stay on a too superficial level with our questions, when you dig deeper, and that's like basically when the purpose work comes. My poor clients, I really dig deep. They tell me something, I ask, okay, what is below? What is one level deeper? What is another level deeper? So you really, and that's the same with values, you know. Everyone says, you know, I like, I don't know, honesty and connection, but what's the level below? When you have connection, when you have honesty, when you have safety, what is below that? So I think, and that is also like I found, there are a lot of questions out there. I honestly right now think that a lot of the things, you could partner up with someone, you know, if you can't, for example, afford a coach or something, get someone else ask you questions. Because one thing I learned is a lot of things, not everything, but a lot of things are often very hard to figure out by yourself, because you can't ask the right questions because you're in your head. And you always stay at a certain level when you are the one asking questions. So it's much more helpful when you have someone else keep on asking you. And then it's like everyone wants a quick fix nowadays, right? I totally get that. Everyone wants a quick fix. We are in instant gratification times, right? So we are like, give me one question and then I have it figured out. There's none. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes perseverance, you know, it takes taking action, patience, and hard work. You know, some things come easy, and sometimes, you know, like you've been working on something for so long and then suddenly it snaps. But I think, and that's also what we need to remember, or this is what life is for me. It's a journey. It's not a final destination. The final destination is actually the end of our life. And we don't want to get there so fast, right? Yeah. We want to enjoy the journey before.
Yeah. And you said really right, like people are searching for the one solution that's going to fix everything in their life, but it's not. I mean, they need to go in a journey. Yes. And
keep being persistent with your questions, keep looking, you know, don't give up. Just because you don't find it today doesn't mean you can't find it tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, lots of people who are gonna watch this, they're gonna really get that hunch or some the inner questions again, guys. Lots of people have really given up on their dreams as well. Lots of people have thought they can do something, but they're not doing it. So it's about the journey, it's about the patience. And how long have you ever found a person really needed up till now to really get their drive or passion or purpose? How long a person needed?
It can, honestly, like for me, when I didn't have like any idea of how to get there and I was just trying some things, it took me until I was like, I don't know, 38 or something. But when I work with my clients, you can already get to that first level of clarity about your purpose within 3 sessions usually. Those are very intense. So it is, and then this is a first level, and then you have to work with it a little bit, because I think when it comes to this topic like that, but then you have clarity about your story, you have more clarity about yourself, and then you know where to look. And then your brain will start not stop, but continue to work on the topic. And then in the next weeks, there will be more and more coming. So yeah, I think it can go pretty quick.
You see, lots of people I find that they're really uncomfortable when they ask these deeper questions, and they wait on this. So, what did you say? What they need to do? 'Cause, I mean, I've met lots of people who become angry, and when they recall their past, something bad has happened in their past, something terrific they did in their past. So, would they gonna get to that point of their purpose, or would they will not? If
Can you
somebody has
just
did something, yeah. If
just
somebody
get the first part?
Yeah, if somebody has did something evil, bad, okay, in their childhood, okay, like you have did something good, you have good experience. But if somebody had terrible life experience, uh, done evil things in their past, but is there a way that to improve their life, or there's not?
I think there's always a way. Like, I think like, how goes the saying? You're always only one decision away from a completely different life. And I really honestly believe that. I think some things, stay with you. Like, I don't think that you can delete your actions, or you can delete your past. And I think some things you also can't make up for. Like, if someone killed a person, he will always have killed a person, right? But he can from now on do everything to contribute. It will never delete the action. It will probably also never delete the guilt, shame, whatever comes with it. But I don't know. But it still makes a difference. And I think, like, in the end, what it comes down to, I really believe that. And some people might be like terribly sick, like mentally sick, and that's maybe then different. But I don't think like everyone that has done something evil is like mentally sick. Sometimes it's the circumstances as well. And but I think we all desire just a happy life in the end. We want to make the most of our life. We want to, have love in our life and be appreciated, and feel important, and feel like, I don't know, we can contribute, and others love us, and we are happy within us, right? And I think this desire is in all of us. But if we don't walk that path and do something positive for it, then we lose ourselves in a very, very dark place. And some people, it's unfortunate, and it really, like, I always try to save people. Like when I was younger, it was more about, people taking drugs, and I wanted that they see that this is not leading them in the right direction. And I really think it's just one decision away. And but not all people that I noticed can be saved. Not all people. Some people are so caught up in their world, but yeah, that's life.
Yeah.
And I think, like, if we can just make one positive difference in one life, then we already did a lot.
Yeah, that's a fraction of changes. I mean, some people's life. And have you ever do you deal with people who are like a kind of like jack of all trades, they from the childhood. Like for me, it was like being a jack of all trades, everywhere, everything, want to try everything. What would you give the suggestion for those kind of people? I mean, could they really can succeed in the business, or they are not? Yeah.
Just your question one more time. Sorry.
Yeah, so there are some people, who kind of like jack of all trades, from the childhood. These people are, they want to be a good singer. Second moment, they want to be a good actor. Second moment, they want to be a coach, or second moment, they want to be a cricketer or a baseball player. They are a jack of all trades, and they're moving every direction, wherever they feel like. So, what do you got suggestion? Would you tell to these people? Could they ever succeed in their life, or they were not?
Well, the thing is, like, how do you define success, right? I think in our world, success is defined mainly by financial success, right? It's like, the more money you make, the more successful you are perceived. But we all know that there are a lot of people. And that's again something I quote Tony Robbins again. This one actor that committed suicide some years ago.
Yeah.
I always confuse the name. Is it Robin Williams? I always yeah. So
Robert.
he always said that, or what he said about that. He said, well, they have fame, they have money, and then, but if you end your life, this is like ultimate failure,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So and if you're not happy in your life, I think that's ultimate failure. And I don't mean that in a bad way, like I want to, like, because I know the pain is already bad enough of not being happy. But what I'm saying, or what I'm trying to say, is money is not going to get you happiness. Success with your business is not going to get you happiness. I think what gets you happiness is when you know that what you do is what you're passionate about, and you're making a difference, and you're contributing to life, to others, and yourself and your families. And so, to come back to your question, I actually think this is also a personality type. I honestly think not everyone is built to be a great entrepreneur, and be successful with this. Not everyone. And some people, their life's journey is about trying as many things as possible. If they wouldn't be switching every 3 months what they do, they would be not happy. So how can we tell them to stop doing everything, only do one thing? They wouldn't be happy with it, right? So I think, like, in terms of entrepreneurial success, I believe consistency with your ideas is key, right? So I actually think if you start now and only do one thing, and you do it for years, you're more, probably more likely to have success as when you switch every 3 months. But then, if you get to the end and you're successful, but you're not happy with it, then you again, like, so it's also, it's a choice. And I think, of course, like, money is a facilitator and makes life easier. And it's always easier. And that's also why it's a difficult discussion. If you have money, it's easier to say that, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, when do you stop? And what I see is that people that have enough money are still wanting more, although they don't get happier with having more, right? Although they would have now the moment to say, I do something else, and they don't. And I also see people that don't have a glamorous career and have only, enough money to support themselves and their families, and they're completely fulfilled. So I think, yeah, we need to survive. We need money to survive. So that's the first thing. It's like the the pyramid of needs, right? You need to have the basis first. Like all the talk about purpose it's a spiritual need. And a spiritual, you can only think about spiritual needs once your basic needs are fulfilled. If you don't know how to have enough food for your family, you don't care about purpose, right? But then also I think satisfaction comes from being able to provide that food. Then you don't need the higher purpose. I actually think the development, why more people are striving for purpose and more meaning in life, is because most of them also have their basic needs covered. So yeah, but yeah, that's so. And but I also think, like, if you don't, it's also a pain. Like, I think in a way it might sound like we are better off because we can think about our purpose, because we are, you know, our basic needs are covered, so we are better off. But I think every situation comes with its own struggles. And what I see is that those who have the basic needs covered and struggle with purpose also struggle with more mental health issues. So we all, you know, like, and that's also life-threatening.
So it's like basically they need to find the happiness in what they do. That's the thing. And the main goal is to be happy with the things that they're doing.
Yes, and with the things you are having. And, you know, like, I think a lot of happiness comes just from getting aware of the positive impact you can have right now on your immediate environment as well. What can you do for the people you care about? Making them smile, doing something good for them, listening to them when they need you to listen. And before the whole pandemic, like, and now we are masked up, but I love to just, you know, help people on the street or listen to a stranger that suddenly started to talk to me or ask me for help. Smiled at someone that looked stressed, you know, those little things really make a difference.
Right.
I always left those occasions and were happy because you see they were grateful, or, you know, and you never know what difference you make. And there's so many people lonely, you know, and sometimes it's more about, you know, giving your time to others. I think we are really, in this way, we are really social. So we have that need of significance in us, that we want to be special and we want to, you know, that others look up to us. But we definitely have also the need for contributing to others. And I think, and it's also one of my things that I didn't do enough when I was younger. Like, okay, I contributed instinctively to my friend's life and helped with their problems. But when I look back now, there's so many things we can do, you know, to help others beyond that as well. And it will give a lot of satisfaction and happiness in our life. And we always, you know, we always have something to give, no matter where we are in our lives, because we always, I think we tend to focus too much on people that are ahead of us and too little on the people that are, you know, actually behind us and needing us. And then we pull them to the next level and we pull them to more happiness. And then they do that again for someone else. So it's like a chain reaction of positivity and love.
So it's about the more you learn, more you contribute, and with that contribution, you be happy in the journey. Not only chase money, but really contributing, and from the contribution, you get fulfillment, and that's what is really important for the people to find the purpose in what they're doing as well. It's really cool point, interesting point. And what really helped you in your journey to be more good? Did you have a mentor, or did you just come by yourself?
What really helped me? So I think like in the beginning, like what really helped me was that I started with NLP. So I had this NLP practitioner training about yeah, I don't know, like also like nearly 15, or was it already 15 years ago? Oh dear, time passes so fast, so a long time ago. And that was when, but I think like at the same time I started with Tony Robbins, and he also bases a lot of his work on NLP. And I think this is really what helped me a lot. And I remember also later on in times, like I can only honestly say that I have been really only feeling happy, fulfilled, and like I have a meaningful life, like for 2 years now, right? So it's not that long also. So all the times before I was searching and struggling and learning more, but it didn't click yet. And I didn't have much help besides, you know, YouTube videos, right? So, but I think this is like, it really put me through some difficult times, and it was free content, right? I remember when I felt down, I was just, you know, watching videos that told me, you know, how to snap out of it or where to shift my focus. And I think this is the beauty of the online world nowadays, that most of us have access to free content that really can make a difference. And then everybody has to find their own mentor in some way. You know, if you choose one, for me it was back then Tony Robbins, but there are many others. You know, like some people don't like the energy, and I think really everybody needs something else. Someone needs someone very calm, someone else very spiritual. You need to find, you know, someone that actually speaks to you. And then in moments like, you just listen to the content and continuously learn. I think that's what it's about. And I was then also fortunate that I was able to hire a coach for myself. It was originally for my business, but she actually asked me the questions I'm asking my clients, right? And that helped me so much. And that's also how I learned that you can't figure everything out on your own. It doesn't have to cost you anything, but it's so helpful when you have like someone you can team up with, and they just ask you some questions, and it doesn't even have to be a coach. You just figure out, you know, some good questions for you, and then let someone else ask them.
All right. The connection. Yeah, yeah. It just connection just the connection just it just stopped for a moment. So you're basically telling that you people really needed somebody to ask them deeper question, and that's what helped you to be more clear in your business, right? It's important. Like and what kind of question do you think she has at that time asked you, and that got you to get more deeper? Some people may get help with that. Can you say exactly the question that helped you at that time, and you also ask your client as well? I'm just really curious to know that. So is it really be more about life or something like that, or is it something else?
No, it's as I said, like I can only repeat myself. There is not this one question. There are
There are many
many
questions.
questions,
There are
and
many
you have to
questions.
work through them.
Okay.
You have to get that clarity about yourself. You have to
Wow.
get that clarity about who you are. And based on that clarity, you need to look in the second step of how you can express that, the different ways. And there are many ways. So I think, again, you can get to it by yourself. I always say, like, you can get to everything by yourself, but if you want to, you know, get to it faster, then you better do it with someone else.
So they need a coach to do it a lot faster. The coach can amplify these things, their clarity, and really get them really quick things. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes asking questions. It takes digging deeper into those questions. And then it also takes some way of creative thinking, like in what ways you can express that, right? So if, you know, what are your passion topics? What are your skills? How can you mix that up? And there are many ways, right? They're not only, also in coaching, there are so many ways of how you want to, or how you can actually express that. There's not only one way. I think you just have to decide on one way at some point and then stick with it for a while. And with time, you can still adapt it. I think one of the most, or the biggest misconceptions also for entrepreneurs is that when they start with one thing, they need to be really clear on it because they're stuck with it for the rest of their lives. And maybe when you manufacture products, that might be right, but if you're offering services, then those services can develop with time. There are a lot of, you know, especially on social media, there are a lot of people that started with a topic, and when you see them now, they're super big, they do something completely different.
So it's not specific, like you need to get clear on something, or there is a process after that. You were mentioning is that, like, they need to clear upon something and they need to learn to express that in some ways, right? That's what you're saying. That's a great point. I mean, that's what we don't hear of, and most people are just preaching that you to get clear upon something. I also feel that I've done these things, getting clear upon something, but really expressing that in a different ways. This is kind of new, and so getting more clear in the purpose. And I often have questions, you know, these things, that is there any generalized purpose upon life, or is not, like, do you think that there is a purpose of life for everybody, or there is not? What is the purpose of life? I mean,
that's individual for everyone. But I think that if you say there is a super overall general purpose, I think the purpose of everyone, like of every human being, is in super general words to contribute in their own unique way. And then your individual purpose is your way of how you contribute. Because in the end, you know, the world, we are like one community, and everybody has like his special or her special place in it.
so everybody has to find their own way to contribute.
Not
And
has to, you know, like if you feel the need that you want your own unique way, and if you feel like you want this life of alignment and meaning, then yes. But it's not, you know, not what everybody wants. And that's the same with the business. You know, is the main goal for you having a successful business and you don't need to feel aligned for it? Or is alignment the first goal, and, you know, self-expression and actualization your first goal? And I think like that's also what my clients told me. For me, the driving force is not money. It's not, and that's maybe also why when you want to make millions, maybe I'm not your coach. You can, but for me, the driving force is to help you create something that you feel good about. But some people don't need that for their business. Some people, and that's also, some people only look for what do others need, and I create something what everybody else needs, but I actually do it the other way around. I say, what do you need? It's not about the others, it's about you. And when you do something that is in alignment with yourself, then there will be others for it.
So it's about them. Like it's not about what other people has expectation about what they should do, and the family expectation or something like that. Like it's about their story.
No, you know, like when people are talking, when we talk about the niche, or in American English, I think it's niche. But if you talk about the niche topic, for example, in a business, which niche do I pick? Yeah. Then a lot of people like recommend online that you look at what everybody else needs from you and what you're good in. And I say, do something you're good in, do something you're passionate about, and don't care about what everyone else needs, because once you do this, what you're good in and what you're passionate about, there will be people for it, and you will attract the people that are for it, right? While when you only focus on what everybody else needs, in the end, you end up not knowing who you are anymore, because you're kind of pleasing everyone else while not doing your own thing. That's my approach. That's just the way how I see business and the world, but people might disagree with me. And I also think like there is no right or opinion in this. There is just, everybody has an individual opinion, and that's also what I'm saying. Like when I do what I do, I know that not everybody like will like how I do it or agree with it, but that's fine. I'm not here to be interesting for everyone. I'm here to be interesting for those who believe the same thing.
I mean, this is something really amazing. Like most people, what they say that there is already a market out there for something. You see what people really needs, and you create those things, and those people will buy. Like there is already a market for a watch. There is already a market for shoes. There is already a market for clothing, and you just go in there, and you don't need to repeat the mistakes and reinvent the wheel, and do the things that already people does, and sell those things, and people really get money from that. What you're telling is something that you get into yourself, and you need to create, and you find what you like, and the things that you're saying. I mean, you're saying something to create from your inside, right? uh, and they really need to know that what they're good at, how they can serve, how they can contribute, and they find these things inside of them, and they put these things out there. It seems something really, really interesting and lot deeper. I mean, I really like this fact, and when people really find that thing, and it's just really amazing transformation as well. Like, and maybe you have saw it, maybe people really can see it, and really getting deeper to their purpose and the connection, the alignment. I mean, really, it's really fantastic. So, what are the what's the advice that you can give people who are really in the business starting point, maybe middle? What is the advice that you really willing to give, and by the work that you do and the things that you do, the message that you want to create? So, first of all, what is the advice that you want to give to all the startup entrepreneurs?
Sorry, what was the last question?
What is the advice that you want to give for all the startup entrepreneurs at this point?
I can't. That's a bit to all the it really well to the ones that are seeking an aligned business. I can give advice, right? So I think like, because to generalize it wouldn't be right, because everybody needs to find, you know, what speaks to them. But I think like if you are seeking for a business that really, you know, represents who you are and is where you can express yourself and where you feel like you are really, you know, creating that meaningful life, then you need to ask questions about yourself first. You need to first understand what makes you unique, what your unique gift and potential is. And based on that, you can, you know, like put yourself out there. Yeah. And I think having your own business is you're learning so much. Like, it's like I think it's like a self-development tool, right? So, but you need to, once you have decided what you want to do, you need to dig deeper into it and like be consistent with it and just stick with it and grow from there. But I think like, yeah, because I think like a lot of people stop in the beginning because they don't even, or what I see a lot of people that start with their business, they don't even know what it is about. And you will never be able to sell anything if you don't, you know what it is you're selling. And there are more people out there, like even me. I was also in that situation before. So I think like the first step is to get really clear on what it actually is. And my way is, how I approach this is that I say, okay, in order to figure out the what, you need to know your why before. Actually also what Simon Sinek says. So you can also watch Simon Sinek. He also has a great process in one of his books of how to get to your purpose. You can also follow that. He's asked some good questions in there. And yeah, so you need to know the why you do what you do is basically, it's fueling you, right? In times that are tough. It's like a guiding principle. And also your values, knowing your values is something, is also like a guiding principle. It's also, those are tools also for making decisions. And when you have your own business, you will have to make a lot of decisions. So you will need to have, that clarity first. And as everyone probably also heard about, a vision is really important. But how do you have a vision when you don't really know yourself? And more money is not a vision. Like, why do you want to have that money? What for? Like, there is some digging involved. I cannot repeat it enough. And I know, and for some, this process is easy and fast, and for some it takes longer. And I think, there are so many courses out there. There's so many coaches out there. And we can only, trigger change in others, but then they need to follow up on their actions. And the same Tony Robbins, like, he does amazing things in a day or in an hour. But what they don't talk about is that there are a lot of people that when they leave an event with him, might not anymore, stay on the same path because they don't have the help anymore.
Yeah.
So we need to take action as well. And entrepreneurship, I know everybody wants it, me included, yeah, but it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. You really need to have the endurance. I mean, most of the most successful companies, it took them 10, 20 years until they were successful. Yeah. Still here, they say it takes up to 7 years until you have profitable with lots of businesses. And people forget that because there are some few people that seem a lot, but there are few people out there on social media that actually made a lot of money within a short amount of time. It's possible, but for most people, not. right?
So is
But
there
you also
any,
need to be happy with that if that doesn't work out, and you need to have endurance.
so they need to have endurance to survive and thrive. And it's all the startup coaches, all the startup entrepreneurs. This is the important fact that they need to dig deeper and they need to have endurance.
And
Or
if what you do is meaningful to you, you won't give up on it.
yeah, that's true.
That's why the why is so important. It keeps you going.
Yeah. So searching that why they have started, why they need to go on, and what is that thing that they need the drive is really important. And this is what keep help them keep going, and this is a really important message and really important. What are the share things that you share is what's really important. And what is the message that you want to try to create? This one last question. This is the last question. That is there any message that you want to try to create to the world? That is what it is.
Mm,
The message for the world, by based on the thing that you're doing.
I have there's a quote I have already from young age, and that says, "If you shoot for the moon and miss, you'll still be among the stars." And I think like one of my biggest messages is that to always keep moving, to never give up, and to not settle for less, to never lose hope, and that really anything is possible if you just believe it.
Anything is possible. Yes.
Yes.
So it's a fantastic. I mean, the message that you shared, keep on going for all the people who are really giving up. I mean, they need to keep on going, searching deeper, and finding that alignment, finding true purpose, passion. It takes hard work, but if they keep on going, they're gonna find it, and and eventually there will be some people to help them as well. Okay, and you can definitely contact guys if you're watching this. Definitely contact her by Instagram account. Find it through purpose. I'm gonna share the link in the comment box below so that you can find her, the things that you're doing. Okay, and yeah, if you have any final messages, then drop the question or your message to her in the comment box below so that she can read and reply later. And yeah, thank you, Birga, for being in this awesome interview, and things that you have shared is really, really impacted. It really helped me as well. It really helped other people as well. The thing, the message, and lots of people have gonna find some golden nuggets here as well. Have an amazing day, Birga. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure, and everyone who wants to reach out to me, just feel free. I always reply, and I'm happy to, help as much as I can.
Okay, can you tell what the things that you're currently doing? Is there anything special that you're doing? Then would like to know.
I'm just before launching a new group program that will be basically really focusing on getting that clarity on yourself. That is what I'm currently working on. And that really shall provide the first level of clarity about yourself. And other than that, I'm just working, like continuously trying to improve and get new programs out there and work with as many people as possible. Also do that individually, not only in my programs, of course.
Wow. So guys, see, you can get into her one-on-one coaching as well. Like it's really fantastic that you work.
It's still possible.
So you basically help people with one-on-one, and this is really great. People really need some that deeper counseling or things that to get more clarity. And it's fantastic to hear the things that you're doing as well. Really have it. It's fantastic to interview today. and learn the things that you have learned from the life and the purpose things, and it will really be an amazing session for lots of people.
Thank you.
So have an amazing day, Birga. Speak to you again soon, and hope
Yes.
to meet you again in future in our interview, or in our community as well. And have an amazing day, live an amazing lives. Until then, people are great.
Okay. Take care. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.